Hello. Hi. We're back. Hello. Hello, beautiful Augie. Hello, Kay. Hello. Yes. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Let's check in. Get the housekeeping out of the way. What is up? Hello. Happy Monday. It's a new week. New opportunities. Hello. Thank you for being here. We're steering off from 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 case. I saw, let me check in. Hello, welcome. We see Debbie, Tipsy, Amber Nola, number 7. Augie, thank you for being here, Augie. Being Bio Girl, I'm so glad you're back. Hello, Scott. I see Kay, Laura, Amanda. Yay! Amanda, I'm getting back to you, but yeah, thank you for being here. Hello. We are talking about Ashley Elkins today. I know, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the case. But if you're not, welcome to my channel. We're going to cover her case because I think it's important. There's not a lot for me to go off of. We know we like to deep dive. We're deep diving 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 here right now. So if you don't know, for all the viewers, replay viewers, new subscribers, we cover true crime here and we're deep diving 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 case right now. But I couldn't really deep dive the Ashley case because there's no autopsy report. There's none of that. And you'll understand when I get to the case. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. Hello, Laura. You're stuck with me now. That's fine. You're stuck with me now. Have you guys heard about the case, Ashley Elkins out of Michigan? I think it's so brutal and I haven't heard many people talk about it. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. I know it's probably not, we're seeing a lot of Wade Wilson and stuff, but I think these cases deserve just as much as attention. I've never heard anything about it. Please tell us. Really? Augie says she's never heard anything about it either. Wow. I don't think I've never heard of this. Okay. I like that. Yay. I like when I teach you guys new things. And that's my point. That's why I'm here. I'm so glad you guys haven't heard about this case because that means that I did my job, right? I came up here and I introduced something to you that you were not aware of, and now you are. And now when he goes to trial, you're going to be like, I already know this. I covered this back in the day with Melly, right? Because trial takes a long time to prepare for and whatnot. This will probably be trial maybe if he ends up not taking plea, maybe later this year or maybe even early next year. So I've missed everything on the internet in the last. Well, Amanda, I hope everything's okay. And catch up. You can always catch up. I'm going to do a bunch of shorts just updating on past cases. So hopefully some of the cases I haven't touched on in a minute, we'll get an update. But usually I do lives, like, so I really felt like this case, I needed to talk about it. I don't know why. I just felt like I needed to. Ashley Elkins, new to me. Okay, we're a clueless bunch. No. There's not a lot on there. When you go try to watch videos, I think there's only like a handful of people who have talked about it. So who is Ashley Elkins? Ashley's a 30-year-old mom, and she has 2 boys, 7 and 10. She's from Warren, Michigan. She worked doing hair. She was like, I haven't heard of this one either. Great. Good to see you, Nola. Thanks for being here, Amber. Nola. I got that backwards, but you know what I mean. So she's from Warren, Michigan. She does hair. She was doing hair out of her home. She was like, a hairstylist. She was a hairdresser. And she loved that. She did for both services for both male and females. And she was very close to her family. I thought that was really important with details that we touch on a little bit later in the case. And she was really close to her mother, Monica. And we're going to watch, because I couldn't get an autopsy on this, etc., and you'll understand that why in a second. We're going to watch a few clips. Some are really short, like 2 minutes long. And then I want to watch the press conference. So I did want to make a note about Ashley was that in 2024 on April 8th, she lost her father. Her father was unalived under a circumstance that shook the family to its core. So Ashley was dating man on the screen, Deandre Booker. Who is Deandre Booker? So he's a 32-year-old man from Roseville, Michigan. She's from Warren, Michigan. He's from Roseville, Michigan. A little backstory on him. There's not too much to deep dive here because yet. But in 2016, he is someone that he was dating Ashley, by the way. They were dating for about a year. They broke up in September of 2024. And she didn't want anything to do with him. So she called it off. She wanted to move on. And prior to the breakup, he was part of the family, right? Like you're going to hear her mom in a few of the interviews talk about like how he was so welcomed. He was always at all the events. It was her boyfriend, you know? And they liked him. They trusted that he was a good man for her and to her kids. You know, she had 2 little boys. And I was reading somewhere that like the mom said that, you know, he embodied everything that they wanted for her. Like that's how good of a guy he was. But I don't know, you know, people choose to show you parts of them. And so I feel like he wasn't that person. He was very controlling. And we would later find out why. And he would always be going through her phone. And her family did end up finding out about this later on. And he also, when the investigation started, you know, he had a bunch of fake Facebook pages. And her mom talks about how she thought that was, you know, sus. She was like, why does someone have tons of, you know, Facebook pages? Yeah, exactly. His true colors. Hid his true colors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what's sad, right? Her mom talks about like how he was present for her kids and he would show up and he was supportive. But what we didn't know on the back going on in the background was that he was basically, I think he was abusive and I think he was controlling, and he would get upset when she was going to do guys' dreads, you know, because she was a hairstylist. He would get upset. And so they broke up. They dated for a year, broke up in September of 2024. And then on December 31st, so they had been broken up for about like 15 months or 3 months. They broke up in September. And then on December 31st, you know, you could book services with her for her to do your hair. Like she did it out of her home, but you can book online and whatnot. And she got a booking for a service on December 31st. And it was from it had an anonymous name, and she didn't know who it was. And when that person showed up, it was him. It was Deandre. So they were broken up September, October, so like almost 3 months. And it was him. He showed up to her house. What wasn't so well known was that he wouldn't leave her alone. After they broke up, he wouldn't leave her alone. He was contacting her. He was basically harassing her, showing up to her functions that he didn't have to show up at. And now he's showing up to her house on December 31st. That was just like, it's February 24th. So not even 3 months ago, right? New Year's Eve. So she didn't let him inside the house. She had the people inside the house ignore the knock at the door, and she didn't allow him in. And that was on December 31st. Stalker. Yeah, he was. In my opinion, he was. I think he was stalking her, and I'm shook, right? We talk about, I always say this in like every live, we talk about nature versus nurture and like what made him. So was he just hiding his true colors and he was always this monster? Or like, did something happen that made him become this monster? Or was he born being this monster? I think that's an interesting conversation, right? And it involves psychology. It involves social work. It involves mental health. It involves, I feel like, what made him do what you're about to find out. It just blows my mind. You know, he was just in there in the home, hanging out with her kids, being a good dad. Very good questions, right? Predator stalker vibes. Absolutely. And so a little bit of background on Deandre, his past behavior. I couldn't deep dive it like I usually deep dive. And if you're new to my channel, we deep dive a lot here. I get documents, all of the above. And that's one of my things is I like to come up here and read documents and read the facts. And if you don't want to listen to me read, then it's probably not the channel for you, but you're welcome. I accept anyone and everyone. And if you do like to hear I think documents are the best. I like to read the documents and then I'll go and watch a bunch of lives and documentaries, and I'll go in and hop in on the Reddits and get in on the conversations, right? But I always like to know at least, hey, I read the affidavit, I read the indictment, the arrest warrant. And so for most of the cases I cover, I generally have those documents. For this one, it's hard not to, because where is Ashley? And so with that being said, let's go back to Deandre. Who is Deandre Booker, right? She was dating this man. I'll show you a picture here. This is Deandre. And he has a history of larceny and fraud during his service in the U.S. Army. And he ended up being discharged from the Army. And with this case, you know, his troubling Google search history becomes relevant in the case later. But her family didn't know that he was possessive and controlling until after the fact, right? They'd been in a relationship for like a year, so they didn't find out who he was until later, after the breakup, essentially, too. And let me show you pictures of Ashley. That's Deandre, and this is Ashley on the screen. So why is it important that I tell you guys a little bit about Deandre and Ashley? Well, on January, you heard about when he booked an appointment, and it wasn't under anonymous, and he showed up, right? So that was on the 31st, and then this is on January 2nd, 2025. So Ashley, this is the last time she was seen. She left her house at 8:30 a.m. to run errands. And she said she was going to the beauty supply store to get supplies, and she never returned. They didn't know where she was. She never came back home. And there's a part of the story where her mom had a dream. We're going to watch a little bit of that interview. We're going to actually watch quite a few clips tonight. Some are short, one's like 20 minutes, but her mom, you know, talks about contacting her because she had a dream. She had a dream about Ashley. So she leaves on January 2nd, and she doesn't return home. That same day, her mom ends up having a dream that her car got stolen. And her mom, that was at 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and her mom drives there. Her mom's, you know, contacting her, trying to FaceTime her and texting her. And she can't get a hold of her. And so she's like, you know, what is going on? Like, why isn't she answering? And she gets a response back from Ashley's phone that says, you know, she says, hey, I had a dream that your car got stolen. And the person responding said something like, oh man, that's all. And her mom knew, like, that it wasn't her. Her mom's like, she doesn't respond like that, right? And I think that is so important. And it's when you come to terms of speaking like spirituality, I think that's like on another level, right? Like her mom had an intuition, and her mom contacted her, and her mom knew her. She had a close relationship with her mom, and her mom knew that that's not the way she talks. You know, she doesn't respond, right? Augie says mothers always know. I'll come back and say hi to whoever I missed, but I saw Widow in here. It is messed up. And so her mom's like, hey, 10 minutes later after she left, it shows up. Her mom drives there and shows up. Yeah, 10 minutes later, she's like, hey, she responded with some weird ass message and she's not answering me. And what is going on? So her mom drives there, and, kudos to her. We're going to watch a few clips of her. And my heart breaks for her. My condolences go out to the Elkins family. When I tell you a little bit more of the facts, you're going to be like, wow, I can't imagine the pain that they're experiencing. And so Ashley was missing January 2nd. Her mom does contact authorities. They're trying to find out, what is going on, where she is. On January 7th, authorities find out that her phone had pinged, and that ping was near Deandre's house, the ex-boyfriend, that made that fake hair appointment and was stalking her, basically. Yeah, it pinged from his house. And her car was found a few miles away from his place. And that day when she went missing, one of her family members got a text message. She texted her mom something weird like, oh man. And then hours later, a family member got a text message from Ashley, that had said that she was going to the store and her phone was turned off and then back on. And I get that intuition with my boys. I always know. So I have to cough. So I'm going to mute you for a second. Laura says, I get that intuition with my boys. I always know when something's wrong. I've had that happen with my dad. One night when I was getting into trouble, he said that he couldn't sleep. He was having all these weird anxiety feelings, and that he had a dream about me. I believe that. I absolutely believe that, especially if you're close to your parents, right? And her mom talks about how important it is to get along with your children and have a good relationship. I'm not a parent, so I can only elaborate so much, but I feel like a lot of my friends and a lot of you in chat are, and family dynamics are just iffy, right? We don't like to talk about them, and they're very much there. We all go through different stuff, and have different relationships with different members of our family. And I think that's important in this case as well, and why I really wanted to talk about it, because I could see myself in Ashley and her mom, Monica. I'm very close to my mother, and I get calls like this from my mother all the time, that she has intuitions and stuff, because I am all up in her business and my energy surrounds her constantly. She knows the stuff I'm doing and what I'm doing and how I'm feeling and how I talk. And so Ashley's mom was like, that's not her, when she got that weird text message. So her phone pings at her ex-boyfriend's house. Her car is found a few miles away. And she had texted her phone went off and on, which is very suspicious. She was last seen wearing a long black coat, and she had on a hoodie and black leggings. So when the phone pinged at her ex-boyfriend's house, Deandre Booker's, that led the authorities to get a warrant. And this warrant led them into his home, and they found a bunch of substantial evidence consisting of blood in the bathroom. And they obviously do what they have to do, and they find out that it's Ashley's blood. They ended up getting, I believe, a sample from her mom and I think one of her kids, if I'm not mistaken, DNA sample. And there was blood found in his bathroom. Yeah. The nasty man I showed you just a few seconds ago. This is beautiful Ashley on the screen, by the way. And this is Deandre Booker, her ex-boyfriend. Hey, Berrywood, good to see you. I see T-Man. Hello, Torta Pounder. Hello, Michelle. No. No, that's funny you guys think that. I'm reading the comments. No. I don't know. I had a scratch in my throat. I would tell you, trust me. You can come here and know that, baby. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm reporting the facts. But no. So they found blood in his bathroom, and that evidence led them to think that Ashley had been murdered. You know, they found blood in there, and so why is there blood in there? And now she's missing. There was also evidence of extreme violence, which I wasn't able to get the details of. There's no documents out on this case thus far, but it's very fresh, right? It's very new. They're still going through like preliminary hearings, and we're going to watch his arraignment. And so he became the prime suspect. They found blood in his bathroom, ran that DNA, and it matched her DNA. And they also found that her DNA was in a dumpster outside of his apartment complex. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at you guys in the chat. They found blood in the dumpster in front of his apartments that matched her. Hey, Kokomo Corner. I'm surprised that you still have a voice after yesterday's live. I don't. I think y'all are giving me a hard time. Don't make me time you out. No, but yeah, I think I'm suffering from that. I read for 4 hours yesterday. I did. Blood in the bathroom on the dumpster. This dude was an idiot. I'm horrified. So they find blood in his bathroom with the warrant, and they find blood in the dumpster. And Ashley was nowhere to be found. They still hadn't found her. Police, basically with the information they found in the apartment and in the dumpster, they concluded to the fact that she was unalived. And with the blood being found in the dumpster, it led the police to, where does that trash go? Where's that dumpster going, right? Where do they go drop off trash? Where can they go look for her? Because they believe that her body was last in that dumpster. So it leads them to the Pine Tree Acres landfill in Lenox Township. So this is in Roseville, Michigan. He's from Roseville, Michigan. She's from Warren, Michigan. And the landfill is in Lenox Township. And they do a search from January 13th to January 19th at the landfill. And keep in mind, this is one of the biggest landfills in the area. I read somewhere in one of the, I think it's like CBS or something, that landfill was as big as 500 football fields. And they get like 3 million of garbage a year or something crazy. So imagine how big that is. And authorities believe that her body has now traveled from that dumpster and on his property to this landfill. And my heart breaks. Obviously, they believe that he had unalived her. And they do a search from the 13th through the 19th. And we want to keep in mind that these searches are dangerous, right? When things like this happen, crimes like this happen, it's hard. I just said it's about 500 football fields big. And what is entailed in a landfill, a garbage landfill? Well, you get things like methane gas, and you get things like hydrogen sulfide. People are having to use their hands. Sure, they have gloves. It's all done by hand. They have to sift through trash to try to find someone's remains. And this is where they believe that Ashley was. He dumped her in the trash can, in the dumpster, to go to the landfill. And within the search, they have things like cadaver dogs and drones and volunteers. But no luck. They didn't find Ashley's body. So I'm going to play a clip because it's such a new case, and we were not able to deep dive it like we're deep diving 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, where I had the autopsy and reports and whatnot. There is no autopsy, right? Her body hasn't been found. And I think this is such a brutal case, and it should be talked about. And we're talking about we're deep diving the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 case here right now, and that revolves around domestic violence. And this is a case of domestic violence too, right? And her body hasn't been found. So I'm going to play a clip about, we're going to watch quite a few clips, and they're short. One of them, this first one, is about the news reporting about her missing. And I think these are critical clips. And then I'll come back and check it with you.
Now we're going to turn to the mysterious disappearance of a Macomb County mother of two.
The family of 30-year-old Ashley Elkins is desperate to find out what happened to her, and they fear that she may have met with foul play.
Detectives in the city of Warren, where she lives, are leading this investigation, but police in Roseville have also been looped into this case.
Tonight, 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham is talking to Ashley's loved ones about why they say she wouldn't just walk away from her kids.
Ashley Elkins' family says time is of the essence. They want this message spread far and wide to bring her home safely.
Thank you,
Monica Elkins is desperate to hear from her daughter, 30-year-old Ashley Elkins. Ashley's family says the mother of two was last seen leaving her home on Knox Avenue in Warren January 2nd at 8:30 in the morning to run errands.
So I texted her and said, I had a dream that your car was taken. And she said, oh, man. I said, oh, man. So what I did was FaceTime her. She didn't say anything, which was strange to me. And then I said to her, well, be careful, watch your surroundings. Nothing after that.
But Ashley never answered the FaceTime call. Ashley's sister, Alexis, says she and her sister kept tabs on each other through the iPhone Find My iPhone feature. Around noon, a few hours after Ashley was last seen leaving home, they say her phone's last location appears at an apartment complex in Roseville. A man she used to date lives there.
We knew that he had been, trying to reach out to her, whether to get back with her, I don't know.
But by the time loved ones drove by, they say there was no sign of Ashley, the man, nor her vehicle, an older model gray Chevy Malibu that doesn't have a license plate yet.
She has not been in touch with anyone. We're talking about a mother of two children who are 10 and 7 years old, who loves her children, loves her family. She's always in contact with her family. And to not be in contact or not have responded in 5 days or reached out, that's just uncommon.
I'm told the man she used to date hasn't been seen since either. We stopped by the apartment complex. I knocked on the door. No one answered. Ashley, who's a hairstylist, works out of her home in Warren.
The day he came to the house, he acted like he was a client, and he made an appointment with her. She was expecting a client. It was him. And they were in the house quiet. She told him to be quiet. He knocked on the front door and the side door, and then he left. And then here it is 2 days later, she's gone.
Warren police say the family reported her missing January 3rd. Investigators confirmed her last known location was in Roseville. And they say they've canvassed several area businesses for video and are using digital forensics in the case.
I understand they work very hard, but the family is asking them to work harder. We know that every minute counts.
Ashley Elkins is described as 5'2", Black female, 150 pounds. If you have any information about her disappearance or the case in general, Warren police detectives want to hear from you. That phone number is 586-574-4784.
And I go back to the beginning of the live, right? There's so many reasons why I wanted to cover this case, and we cover everything here on my channel. I cover big cases, new cases, little cases, old cases, cold cases, all of it. I'm a literal true crime junkie, but this case needs more awareness. Her family has not been able to find her. Someone said in the chat, domestic violence is so prevalent in our society. It is, and it happens in more homes that we can imagine. It's terrible. Yeah, she is so pretty. Oh, sorry, I thought I had her pictures up. This is Ashley. She's beautiful. I know. I'm going to play another clip. about the landfill search. It's short like that, but I think it's important.
Elkins, the missing mother of two, is leading police to a landfill in Lenox Township. Drone 4 shows us dozens of searchers at Pine Tree Acres landfill. Roseville police tell Local 4 a dozen law enforcement agencies are helping out, including out of Ohio with cadaver dogs. About 40 to 50 officers began sifting through the area in hopes of bringing closure to the family. Authorities say waste management moved up to 80,000 tons of trash to get to their target location. Local 4's Shantae Passmore spent the day in Lenox Township. Shantae, kind of walk us through some of the challenges during the search to find this missing mother.
Well, KG, the top issue would be right now the weather. It is extremely cold. In fact, a source told me over the weekend a team had set up a heated tent and also provided hand warmers to the officers. And then the next issue would be just the sheer volume of trash we're just talking about. You talked about moments ago about how much trash had to be removed in the search area. And there's also some uneven terrain, of course, naturally. So we've also heard of some people, unfortunately, twisting their ankles, but still tomorrow they will come back at it again to search for Ashley Elkins.
And Shantae, you've been in touch with police and talking to them. How confident do they feel in terms of finding Ashley?
Well, you know, the Roseville police chief talked to us earlier this afternoon. He said with confidence that this search is moving in the right direction. Through working with waste management, they were able to pinpoint a targeted area. We're talking about either a 6 or 7 acre parcel where he said, quote, they believe evidence will be located. Drone 4 actually had shown some of the officers were using things like rakes and a shovel. And there's also reports of about a couple of bulldozers being used as well. KG?
Yeah. A huge challenge for those volunteers and investigators. Hopefully they are able to bring some closure to.
That's horrifying, right? I know. That's huge and so dangerous. Imagine someone you know or love being thrown into a dumpster and then going to a landfill and there's no sign of their remains anywhere. She still hasn't been found. She still hasn't been found. This was January 2nd, and we're going to tomorrow's February 25th. It's upsetting. And I don't know why so many. Yeah. No, he just got charged with murder on like the 31st. So her body hasn't been found. I don't ever want it. It's heartbreaking. Will they find anything? You know, we don't know. Her family does believe it was premeditated. They believe that he was lurking outside of her home that day when he abducted her. They do believe that. The search started on the 13th. She went missing on the 2nd. On January 8th, he was charged with and booked into Macomb County Jail for a not guilty plea into non-related charges. Well, they are related, but not to the murder. He was charged with lying to investigators. He was providing false information about her. You know, they had found the blood in the dumpster, and he was lying about things that they later caught on surveillance and tracked her phone. All of the above, right? And so he was booked, and this was basically the onset of the investigation. They knew that he had something to do with it, and they had to build that case. And so the next clip I'm going to play is also short, like the one we just watched. Hey, Lily, good to see you. I know I missed some of you because I was reading. Smog Dog, hello. Cole, hello. Good to see you. Sorry if I missed. Against All Logic, hello. Sorry if I missed you. The next clip is going to be of her family. They're going to talk about her missing. It's short like that. And then we'll move on.
Morton, MAURICE, MORTON.
And what is your title and how are you handling the situation?
Spokesperson for the family and uncle.
Okay.
Right,
Over
Laura.
here with, we have mom and other family members.
We have the family. We have mom, sister, grandmother, auntie, cousins. We have a lot of family here.
What's the update tonight?
We did meet with Roseville and Warren Police Department tonight, a little after 7:30. We met with Chief Berlin and we met with multiple deputy chief, and they gave us an update on what was found yesterday. What they indicated was there was substantial evidence collected at the home of the ex-boyfriend. They also indicated that based upon that evidence, that Ashley was murdered. They don't have her body at this time. They do have good leads on where her body is. They also indicated to us that the boyfriend is in custody right now on related charges, not for murder at this time. A warrant is being prepared, but he will be arraigned in the morning at Roseville District Court at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Family has been saying since Friday that they suspected this man. Speak on behalf of them. What are they feeling? What are they thinking now?
You know, as we said before, there was a lot of frustration by the family. We felt that things could have gone faster. But we do know that since Monday, the police have worked hard. We're thankful to get to, the point of getting some information. It's not the information we would want naturally. But at this point, it's about justice.
And it is about justice. That's why we're talking about this case tonight, right? I had this planned out since this weekend. Hello, Mary D. Hello, homie hangout. Her kids were young. Can you imagine waiting for your family member to be found in a landfill? Laura, I go back to your comment because how devastating. Her body still hasn't been found. And once you watch the interview with her mom, oh, my heart breaks.
Because there was a monster out there that took a very beautiful young lady away from us. And if you heard the tears coming from and her children tonight, it's just absolutely heartbreaking.
Now, as far as where Ashley may be, what are police indicating to you?
We don't have that
Her
information
mom.
at this time.
We had the premonition about her.
They have a strong suspicion of where she may be.
The boys, 10, 7 years old.
Missed it.
Yes.
Go back and
won't
read
have
it
mom
later.
anymore.
No, they won't.
What happens next for them?
It's going to take a lot of family. Everyone here is going to take the love and support of the family. They do have their father. They have grandparents. Everyone's going to embrace them and support them. That's actually starting now. The healing starts now. Grieving is a process. It's different for everyone. We know ultimately we'll have to go through a court process to make sure that justice is done. But we know it's going to be tough, but it's going to take the family coming together and the community supporting us.
A lot of people have asked, were there signs? Was there something that this man did?
Were there signs? Were there with 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲?
Stalking and maybe abuse. Can you talk to us about what signs were there?
Yeah, I honestly, we don't know.
Is this her
right?
uncle?
They had broken up in September. We know that Ashley didn't want anything to do with him. So, I can't get in the mind of a psychotic person, someone who would do something like this. So we really don't know what motivated him and why he did what he did.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Thank you.
Anything that you want us to know before we go?
We want to thank the community again. We know that the community they've reached out to us. They've been supportive. We just continue to ask for their love and support.
Her mom.
But also at this time, we ask for privacy as well. That's why we want to do this now. But respect the family's privacy. And over these next, few days and months, it'll be pretty tough. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks.
So if you guys are just tuning in, Ashley Elkins went missing on January 2nd, and her ex-boyfriend is now being charged with her murder when they found DNA in his bathroom and in his dumpster. And her remains have not been found, or she hasn't been found to this day. So where is Ashley, right? Somewhere in that landfill, 500 football field landfill. It's so sad. So he was booked for providing false information and misleading information to police at the onset of the investigation. That was on January 8th, 2025. January 9th, 2025, his investigators start digging deep into, his phone history, and they find that he had been making searches that were indicative of him planning to run. He looked up information on like fastest routes from Flint to Ohio, what to do on the run, is blood traceable, how to beat a polygraph, how to delete Google search history, all of these things, they were sus. And it proved to authorities that he planned to run. And that was on January 9th, 2025. And now basically nearly a month later, he's finally he's been charged. There's no body, but he still has been charged. So we see it all the time in true crime, right? No remains, Harmony Montgomery, we see it all the time. And he is being charged with murder a month later. And we're going to watch a little bit of the arraignment, and then we're going to watch her mom give a little bit of an interview. I wasn't able to deep dive it like I usually deep dive everything because there's no autopsy. There's, things documents that I could generally review. We don't have them. The rest wasn't that interesting. I already gave you all the information, basically. So we're going to watch the arraignment. It's like 5 minutes long. And then we're going to watch her mom speak. And then I'm going to show a picture of the text message that she received that morning. And he's not too intelligent with the Google searches. Yeah, right. Everything you do online is never really a secret. Okay, let's watch the arraignment that just happened recently.
329 𝗟𝗏 versus Deandre Booker.
Your Honor, Randall Kane appearing as arraignment attorney on behalf of Deandre Booker.
Hey, Smokey. What up, little Smokey? Let's start unite.
And thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Steve Fox on behalf of the people.
All right, and Detective Lesbrance, can you please go to the table next to Mr. Kane? Mr. Booker, did you talk to Mr. Kane today?
Yes.
Did he go over your rights with you?
Yes.
Did you understand all of those rights?
Yes.
Do you have any questions regarding your rights?
No.
All right, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for purposes of arraignment. With regard to bond, we'll start with Mr. Kane.
Your Honor, Mr. Booker is 32 years old. He's in custody on this charge. He states he is not employed. He lives at the same address. He also states he's not on probation or parole. I recommend a reasonable bond in this matter.
All right, and Mr. Fox.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Obviously, we're here on a 4-year felony for lying to a peace officer on a violent crime investigation. This is, of course, as Your Honor is aware, involving Ms. Elkins. And the court is to consider MCR 6.106F and MCL 765.6, a number of factors. I'm going to hit on a few if you don't mind. The first is the protection of the public. The underlying matter, although not the charge,
yeah, that kind of is.
But the underlying matter obviously involves a crime of violence, potentially. We are still seeking Ms. Elkins. The defendant, we suspect and believe, may know where she is. And a concern is her safety if, God forbid, the worst has not happened yet. So with respect to that, Judge, I believe that there is a risk to the public, specifically if she were still alive, and that's what we're all hoping for, of course. The other is the defendant's risk of non-appearance and the likelihood of conviction. Likelihood of conviction, Judge, The defendant made several material factual misstatements to Detective Lasprence and recited those to the court during the initial swear to. The defendant was aware that we were investigating a missing persons report. He was aware that there was some belief of his involvement. He made misstatements about both his location as well as Ms. Elkins and how she may have left his vehicle.
I don't know why I picked this video.
All of which we can demonstrate by objective evidence,
Don't come for me.
video evidence to be false. So there's a high likelihood of conviction on these cases, on these matters. And then last and most importantly for the court's consideration, I think at this point, is the probability or improbability of returning for trial. We have a history that includes charges at least. We do not have the disposition, but we did recover a DD-214 from his time in the U.S. Army. It looks like in 2016, he was charged with a couple of matters, including larceny of private property, and more importantly, fraudulent ID documents. And then in 2017, he was charged with desertion or the absence without leave, going AWOL from the Army.
AWOL?
He was discharged less than honorably, although it was not a dishonorable discharge.
So he was discharged from the Army, like you heard. AWOL, what does that mean? Like, y'all got jokes. Chill out.
He was discharged
Chill
from the
out.
Army in a less than honorable means or manner. We know that
what is
after the conversations, before the conversations that Detective Lasprence, but we believe after the underlying events of this case, he fled from McComb County with a Flint, where he was apprehended and brought back to Roseville. And we know that during that time, while he was in Flint, he accessed the internet to search for such things as fastest routes from Flint to Ohio, what to do on the run, is blood traceable, how to beat a polygraph, and deleting Google history. So Judge, I think by his own words and search history, by his prior conduct, and by what is frankly at stake in this particular matter, he's of significant risk of flight. With that, I would request a significant bond. I'm asking for a $500,000 cash surety bond, no 10%, and that a steel cuff GPS tether be attached should he make that bond.
All right, Mr. King, anything further from you?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Detective Lasprence, is there anything you wish to add?
No, ma'am, not this time.
All right. As Mr. Fox indicated, there are many things the court has to look to with regard to setting bond and determining bond. This court looks most closely at the risk of harm to the public and the likelihood of the defendant's appearance in court. I will note for the record that this matter is currently charged as a 4-year felony. I will also note for the matter that while Mr. Fox did point out several instances from the defendant's time in the military with regard to any sort of matters that came up with regard to larceny or desertion, that there is no other criminal history presented. But that being said, the matter being investigated does involve a missing person, which is a very serious matter. The court takes very seriously that the allegations being made are that the defendant is lying to a police officer regarding material facts about a missing person at this time. That gives the court great concern about the risk of harm to the public and the likelihood that the defendant will make sure that he appears in court for both this matter and any potential further charges that may be brought by the prosecution. At this time, the court is going to assess a bond in the amount of $250,000 cash surety, steel cuff tether prior to any release. The PCC date in this matter will be January.
So he got a bond for the lying to police. He's got to be some. Oh, our neighbors went AWOL while we were living in the Army. They banged on our door like we knew something. Really? What does that mean? Like, I thought AWOL was when you were losing your shite. Isn't that what that means? Hello, Antonio. Did I say hello? Hello. Sorry. And hello. Wait, did I miss anyone? I don't think I missed anyone. J Money, hello. Yeah, so they didn't have it and found her body, and they think she's out in that landfill. And first he was charged with lying to police. And then on January 31st, he got charged with the body or the murder. They haven't found her body in the landfill. This is terrifying. AWOL from the Army. What does that mean? Oh, absolutely. Duh, Melly. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to like cut that out. So does that mean like you misbehaved or what? Not honorably discharged? What does that mean? So he's acting up while he's in the Army? They kicked him out? Oh, they leave. You're teaching me. I'd be done if that was my kid, done, point blank, period. Yeah. Imagine your family member being in a landfill. 500 football fields of landfill. They haven't found her body. And he is being charged. I want to show the text message her mom got from her that she thought was sus. Ashley left at 8:30 a.m. and her mom left at 8. Her mom showed up at 8:40, so 10 minutes later. Ashley had left, and her mother, Monica, arrives at her house after she had a dream that her car was stolen, like I talked about at the beginning. And she tried to text her, and she got this weird message from her that says, her mom says, Ashley, I dreamt your car got stolen. And she says, aw, man. And when her mom saw that, her mom was like, that's not my daughter. That's not how she talks. And then she says, yeah, do just be careful and mindful where you go. That's all. Where are you? And Nia said she's been calling you and she was already missing. She was already missing. So for those of you tuning in, a little bit of a timeline. Her boyfriend pretends to be someone he's not. On December 31st, she goes missing on January 22nd while she's out running errands for her hair supply store, beauty supply store. Her car is found on January 7th. They do a search of his apartment. Deandre Booker, her ex-boyfriend, who she broke up with in September of 2024, and they find blood and evidence that there was violence and that her body had been there. January 8th, Deandre is arrested for lying to authorities and the suspicious search history. January 9th, he is arraigned, and all while the family is still pleading for answers, right? They're trying to find her body. They did a search from the 13th of January to the 19th of January, and they didn't find anything. They can't find Ashley. My heart breaks for her. We're going to watch her family talk about the arraignment where he gets what we just saw. I think it's very important. Like I said, I couldn't get the autopsy because her body obviously hasn't been found. Amines took off without permission. Well, let that speak for itself, right? Something was up. This is the family speaking, the uncle and her mom.
The reaction of what you saw in court today, I know this, I can't even imagine.
I just really had no bond. I think it was still he got the bond. I just didn't want him a bond at all, you know. I just want him not to be able to get out at all.
That's her mom. I just want to touch on the fact that her mom had a dream about her and showed up to her house 10 minutes after she walked out of her apartment, Ashley, and went missing. That's wild. Do you ever think her body will? I pray that they will find it. But my heart breaks for what they're feeling, right? Like, her mom doesn't know. They can't put her to rest. They don't have no closure. Her body's in a landfill. So big that it's probably going to be impossible. And the more the days go by, you know, probably the harder. I mean, it's one of the biggest landfills. It's Pine Tree Acre landfill. I touched on this at the beginning. It's like They get like 3 million tons of garbage a year or something like that. It's like 500 football fields big. They already use drones, cadaver dogs, volunteers, and they haven't been able. I pray that they do find her. I would like to be hopeful that she was still alive, but I think with the whole thing of her DNA being found in the dumpster, I think he dumped her in the dumpster, and I'm horrified. I'm horrified.
Straight to prison. And just never get out ever again.
Absolutely.
I know that they asked for $500,000 and the judge lowered it. How do you feel about that?
I didn't like that. She should have did 500,000, but I can set 250,000. But which could have been higher or no bond at all.
And you all have had your suspicions about him. Does this confirm what you were suspecting?
Yes. Yes, I knew it from day one.
Can you tell us about that? Is there a moment that you kind of knew?
When I got to her house, it was 8:40. She left at 8:30. I went in the house for a minute, came back out. I texted her I had a dream of her car being stolen. And she replied back, "Oh man," which was weird to me. So I FaceTimed her. She didn't answer. So I said to her, just be mindful about your surroundings and, pay attention where you're going. And she didn't call back. That's not like her. And she never called back. And she never texts back.
Hey, my insane world. Good to
Do you
see
think
you.
that all man that wasn't like her? Do you think that was her answering?
No, that was him. I believe he had her when she walked out that front door.
Her mom
Does he have any
no.
violence or history of violence or anything?
I never knew he was violent, but now that I find out things, I know he was stalking and some things happened, but I found out later from friends first that, yeah.
So you think he was kind of controlling, possessive?
That I know he was, because he would go through her phone and she was doing hair at home. And he had a problem with men coming in and get their dreads and stuff done. And so she had got a booth somewhere on 8 Mile so that she wouldn't have any problems with him. Then when they broke up, then she just went back and started from her house.
When did they break up?
I want to say September.
And how long were they dating?
A year.
Can you describe their relationship? Have you been around them when they were?
Yeah, he was around my whole family. When I say I thought he was the one who was going to marry her.
Wow. I saw my insane world pop in here and say this is a case I've never heard of. I know most of you have it in the chat, and I'm so happy. Well, no, I'm not happy that you haven't heard of it, but I'm happy that I'm here introducing it. Let me rephrase that. And this case deserves more coverage. No one's covering it. I feel like a lot of creators aren't covering it because there's no body and she's not to be found, but that should still be talked about, right? It's a domestic violence case and she's missing and it's terrifying. It's horrible.
He was good to her kids. He played ball with them. He took them to their haircuts. Ashley's father was murdered also April 8th of last year. He was there for that. He went to, I worked for Stellantis, and we had a Christmas extravaganza last Christmas. He was there.
Formal.
The formal. He was there. He was always at my house. I cooked. He was part of the family. So I'm just really shook.
Wow.
That he would do something like this.
Did it give you any hope to hear the prosecutor say that they are still hoping that she's alive?
No.
Yeah, I think we heard from the chief and the police, and based upon the evidence, there's reason to believe that she is not. We know the prosecutor is legalese, right, until a body is found in a courtroom. they're still making those assumptions. But, last night, the family was very clear that, based on the evidence that, and what was shared with us by the police, that, she's deceased at this time.
And I know, have you informed her kids at all of that update?
I know you were just talking about how they're asking for them.
So yesterday I went and got them.
This is so sad.
I told this 10-year-old, he just screamed and hollered and asked why was somebody do something like that to his mother because she's so kind. And how she takes care of them. Who's going to take care of them now? And he's supposed to be a chef. And he's supposed to buy her house. And he's supposed to cook for her. And they had plans. And now it's like he said he's not going to do anything now. He don't want to do anything anymore. And he's asked me questions like, is he going to his dad's or he's got to stay there now? And I don't know. I can't break down. I've been strong this whole time, looking every day from day one. And it's like I can't really lose it because now I got to take care of my grandsons. And so I just got to always just keep being strong. But I get tired and overwhelmed. And I just want to thank everyone.
My Insane World Knight says it should be more incentive to talk about it. No, that's the thing about YouTube too. It doesn't put you in the algorithm when you're not talking about, like someone just said, the Sebastian or Gabby case or the Maddie case. And that's not fair, right? She deserves as much as attention as them. Her body hasn't been found, just like Sebastian's. They all deserve equal.
Everybody who helped me.
And awareness.
I'm glad I went on live on Facebook. I'm glad that people share. I'm glad for social media who sent me information about all sorts of things, his family and people he knew and addresses. I thank the media for when you all came out, that y'all were on the ball. Y'all were calling me all the time from day one trying to get it on there. And, we don't speak on why y'all didn't get it. I'm not going to go there. But once it got on, even they would call me and would tell me updates so that I wouldn't see it on social media. Trying to just protect me and protect my family. So I really appreciate that.
Do you have any feelings to just how full that courtroom was? It was some reporters couldn't even get in. It was so full with support.
Yeah. I was on social media. I said I felt like I was alone and I didn't have anybody. And everybody showed me I did, that there are still villages out here. And yeah, I'm going to be okay with time. The boys will be okay with time, but it's just heartbreaking. She didn't deserve this. She was really a sweet, even when she was born, she was a child who never cried.
That's right, Laura.
Growing up, she didn't do too much. She was real quiet and happy. She was the person that everybody went to, her friends, for advice. And yeah, this is just hard.
She was missing. She's still missing. You still don't know what would help you right now. What would help you in any way right now?
Just prayers. Just everybody pray that we find her. Just pray. I've looked, so I'm sure that they probably know where she is. They probably still look for her. That's what I feel. They just gotta find her.
Even if you know in your heart that she's possibly deceased.
I know she is. I knew it because
Wow.
it took too long. So
Wow.
You still want to just have your baby home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least we can lay her to rest. She's my oldest, and I always told them, my kids, to stay close. Because if something happens to me, then she was supposed to take care of them. And I don't know.
If
they described as he being cooperative or as he combative, or have the police told you at all?
As far as the
When they arrested?
oh no, we don't have any information as it relates to that.
Did he ever reach out to the family at any point when you guys were talking, trying to figure out where she was?
No.
What would you say to him?
But we accepted him. We accepted you in our family. You met her grandmother, you met her aunt, you met all her father's side of the family. You were good to those boys. You know, you didn't think that how it would affect those boys, the ones you got their haircut, the ones you kept sometimes when she had to run errands, the ones you played ball with, the ones you took to the park. You didn't care about them.
Wow.
It's just sad that he didn't even think about them. I don't know.
Was that immediate red flag to you that he didn't call when this all started?
No, it was a immediate red flag when she said, "Oh man, I knew it in my spirit something was wrong," and I knew that he had been there 2 days prior, acting like he was a client. He went on her website and booked an appointment to get his hair done, and then he came to her house. He knocked on the front door and the side door, and they didn't let him in. So here he is, 2-3 days later, boom, she's gone. That's sickening.
Mm-hmm. This is horrifying.
Can you describe any other
I would be
stalking
freaking out.
where he was doing that?
I don't know. A friend of hers said that she felt like someone was always following her in her car. Something about another time he tried to make an appointment, but she found out it was him, and she called him, and he confessed that it was him, and he just wanted to see her, that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Why did she decide to end it with him, or was it?
When we find out he had like 6 and 7 different pages, like on Facebook.
I mentioned it at the beginning, right? The Facebook.
He would have the same people on his page, like respond or find or, you know,
You have to make
whoever
a
he
fake
posted,
page.
which is strange.
I could name off a shit ton
The
of
same 6 people are not going to always say something. You know, you're going to have different people, different days say things. And that's when we start realizing that something wasn't right with him.
Do you think those were fake or?
Oh, they definitely were. He was good with computers and doing things on them and making fake pages, making fake documents. We just really didn't know who he was. We thought we knew him, but we really didn't.
Did you know about going AWOL and the military or the other fraud?
We found out that he was in the Army. He did tell her that, and I asked her, did she ever see him with, you know, a picture with her? She said she saw, but didn't know about AWOL. A cousin had said they didn't know. So he was in the Army, and then all of a sudden he was home.
What do you all think of when the prosecutor was
Domestic violence.
the misstatements he made to police and his internet search history?
We were aware of some of those statements. If anything, it shows how calculating he was, that this was premeditated, and it shows the monster that he is. I mean, we're still waiting on more information as it relates to that. I'm sure the police knows more than we do. But to hear that, you know,
ex-boyfriend,
it says a lot about him and the monster that he is.
So you think he planned it out all ahead of time?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So the family believes, you know, that was premeditated. We saw the text message of her mom. I want to go back to let's get to picture. So a little bit about the key details of the case. So Deandre, he was the primary suspect in her disappearance due to his actions and suspicious behavior in the blood, etc. They broke up in September 2024, and he was stalking her. Like I said, they gathered a bunch of DNA from his apartment in the trash can. her family's talking about, you know, how they feel after the arraignment. Her body has not been found. They believe it is in the Pine Tree Acres landfill. And that's horrific, right? It's funny. Thank you for being here, Antonio. Yeah, no, my insane world, this is it. I have all the facts. There's not a lot out on this case because there isn't much to go off of since her body has not been found. We're going to watch a little bit of the interview of her mom that I think is important. We're almost done here. It's not a deep dive. I couldn't get court documents.
Just buried him April 8th. He was murdered. I can't cry no more. I don't know how to feel. I sat here, was like, you know, should I go on Facebook? Should I show my face? I just don't understand why. Like, when I say I loved him and cared about him, and I said I won't cry. I did not want her to be the person, like 10 years from now, I'd be like, you remember that girl Elkins who went missing?
This breaks my heart. Thank you, Laura.
And they never found her body. I kept saying I didn't want that for her. I didn't want her to be remembered like that, like 10 years from now, when something happened again. Oh, remember that girl Ashley Elkins was never found? They was digging in the garbage can for her and all, like Zion, whatever it was.
Oh my God.
They never found her body. I never.
Thank you, Laura, for recognizing that. I know a lot of you here didn't know about the case, and I'm thankful that you are here listening, because all cases deserve the same amount of attention. Doesn't matter where you're from, who it is, what it all deserves the same in the true crime world. Knight, thank you for becoming a new member. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lily. Thank you. You're green now. Well, you're stuck now. People are freaking sick. He dumped her body in the dumpster. That's so messed up. Imagine someone doing that to your daughter or your son. I'm just saying, I'm not here being a mean girl. I'm just saying, like, what if that was one of us? I think her mom has kept it well together. No, and he hasn't said anything. And that's why I also thought it was important to recognize that. He is just a coward sitting in jail, not saying anything. It's same with Harmony's dad, right? Harmony Montgomery. Yeah. In a landfill of garbage. One of the biggest landfills. Ashley deserves justice. She's getting it, right? I think in a sense, they're charging him with the murder, even though they haven't found the body, but how that plays out into court later, trial, juries. Well, is it true justice? Her family couldn't put her to rest, couldn't have closure. We can talk about true crime all day, but it's those factors that play into how people react to it and the life experiences they go through, right? And that plays into mental health and how you contribute to society. It's all a big circle. I think it's all so important. And I'm upset that I haven't seen a lot of creators cover this Ashley Elkins case that I watch, you know. I hope they find her body, and I hope her mom finds healing somehow.
And now I gotta accept this was gonna be. I didn't do my hair because it's the last thing she did for my daughter's 18th birthday party. So I wouldn't get my hair done. I wouldn't take the braids out. I ain't really sleeping. Everybody keep faith and you know, we're gonna find her. And I don't believe this and I don't believe that, but it is like
her mom.
He threw her away like trash.
Oh my God.
Like she was nobody.
Like trash. Oh,
He threw her away like
Thank you,
trash, like she was nobody. Oh my God. I'll never be the same no more. I lost so many people. You know what y'all don't know is that
Thank you, Audrey.
December 10th, 2023, I was hit downtown. I was at a red light. It turned green. I went through, and a car hit me at 70 miles per hour. And when I called them, he came. He was at the hospital with me.
Oh my gosh.
He was there for a lot of stuff.
Not the murderer being the best boyfriend ever. I touched on it at the beginning, right? The family thought he was a good guy. They wanted her to be happy with him. They thought he was cool. He was stepping in as stepdad with her 2 boys, 7 and 10. She leaves 2 boys behind. My heart breaks.
But I just don't understand that he didn't care at all.
I want to hug.
He called me Mama Love.
My heart breaks for Ashley.
And you didn't care at all about her kids. You didn't care about her grandma that you met the day of Selena's party when she first met you. And when her birthday came.
I can't get past the fact that he's sitting in jail not saying she. You're sitting there while you threw her body in the dumpster. And you can't even admit to it. I don't know. Make a deal. I don't know. Do something. What a coward. I that's the part of true crime that gets to me, is like, what makes people act like that? What happened? Was he always this way? Was he born this way? Was it the army that made him this way? What about it, right? We have so many questions. And like the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 case that I'm deep diving right now, we're deep diving that deep, baby. We're going in. But the signs of domestic violence, right? Her family says they didn't see any, and then her family says they didn't see any until later in the relationship. Such important things that we experience in real life, right?
And you put her
whether it's our
chain with a diamond on it, all
family,
stuff like
ourselves, anxiety,
like,
violence,
he has
abuse.
class.
There's all kinds of things.
These are my aunts, and her dad died, and he was there taking care of everybody. How's supposed to have closure? I can't bury her. How am I have closure? I can't bury her. Like, how I have closure if I have her body?
My heart is like,
what closure am I get for this? I'm always wonder where she is. I'm always be searching. And the whole time, I'm like, okay, do they really know she's there? Like, should we go somewhere else? And I'm like, I gotta have patience. I'm not a patient person. That's why I was out looking. And so I was patient because they like, she's there. We know she's there. We know. And then I was so excited and appreciate when the people came from Canada and Ohio. And it was like Friday, they was done with it. And then they just was like, no, we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep searching for her. She's there. And then the day is like, we can't do it no more. I just wish I was out there to help. I wish I could Doug too. Like, I wanted to help too. I wanted to dig for her too. I've been so strong. I had my moments. And I've been so strong. When I say I've been so strong, because I can't break. Because I take care of everybody. My family. Everybody. And I can't break because
I know this is brutal. I know. And so many people won't click on the live tonight because it's uncomfortable, right? No one wants to talk about these kinds of things and the pain and the trauma that humans experience. But it is so welcomed here on my channel. I'm a huge mental health advocate, and why are we going to pretend like it doesn't happen or exist or shut those feelings out? I don't blame you if this is a hard case to take. I get that. But I think it's very much like real life, right? So my heart goes out to all of you in the chat saying that you have experienced something similar. I'm sorry, Smog Dog. And I'm sorry, Nate, too. I believe you said something. Right. We all need a hug, but it's so important, right? Spreading awareness. Ashley Elkins' body needs to be found. It's not in the media for the last year, like the Sebastian Rogers case or the Karen Reed case or whatever, right? May not be right up your alley, but if you want to talk about being a true crime junkie, that means you accept any and every case that you come across. And you look at it from a perspective of coming from a place of kindness and understanding. That's how I look at it, being involved in the true crime community.
Everybody's broken.
Hey, Gringa.
I'm telling you, I am broken.
Thank you, Anki.
I'm broken.
And Night and Smog Dog.
I feel like I lost
I can sit up here.
my soul.
I feel like we need a Millie
She
after
my
dark.
firstborn. For 8 years, it was just me and her. And
This is like when,
I try to raise my kids like to be close, and like we all we got. It's always been my girls and my mother. That's it. And I told because we found I had kidney stage 3B kidney disease, and I was telling her like I need y'all to stay close because if something happens to me,
you all do.
And actually,
you all deserve the best, no matter what you've been through and who you've been. Truly. I mean, not from the bottom of my heart.
Take care of the family,
I bet we haven't seen on other channels. Yeah, we are.
I'm worried now because who'll take care of them when I'm gone?
He just got charged a month after she went missing, so you guys might want to go back if you're late. But yeah, Gringa, he just got charged on the 31st, and she went missing on the 2nd of January. Yeah, her body got thrown in a dumpster into a landfill. They can't find her. So sad. I'm shook. They already had a preliminary hearing. He already had an arraignment. I've seen it on a handful of channels. Not any that I watch.
Because you're like, I got you, Ma. I got this. I got you. I'm going to take care of everything. And now she not here. So who going to take care? My youngest daughter came in the room this morning because I've been in bed for days, like just laying there. How when I wake up in the morning, it's going to change. And I wake up, I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't wake up from the nightmare. And then one day, I'm asleep. And usually I'm asleep, my kids, I'm like, Ma. We're like, huh? So I'm asleep and I hear somebody say, Ma. I'm like, huh? Woke up, look around. It was her voice.
She's hearing her daughter's voice. Grief.
Then I had another dream about what happened to her. And I got confirmation today that it was what I saw in my dream.
She dreamt about what happened.
It was crazy. I was there that night looking for her, and she was there. I was right there. I was right there.
This beautiful mom showed up to her house 10 minutes after Ashley walked out and was abducted by the man who threw her in the dumpster. Her mom showed up 10 minutes after. Imagine being 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Could that have made a difference? Like, is that fate? I mean, 10 minutes? That's nothing, right? But it's everything here. I mean, 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so heartbroken for this case. I hope they find her body.
No one should ever go through this ever again.
My heart goes out
ever.
to my
Like,
family, truly.
y'all gotta love on y'all kids, man. I don't care what they go through, what they do. I don't care. Like, love on y'all kids. Know y'all kids. Because I knew her.
And now she's speaking facts.
Because I was close to my kids. And I always told them, don't lie to me. I'm going to get mad about stuff, but don't lie to me.
She was so close to Ashley. She knew when she got a text message that didn't sound like her. And that's very much like my family and friends. They would know if they're like, that doesn't sound like Melly. That's weird. Right? Because I'm always so out of pocket. But like, I feel like they knew her attitude and who she was. Her mom recognized that, to know that when she received that text message that it wasn't her. So she went and looked for her. That blows my mind. I'm shook.
Because when things go down, I got to know what the is going on. And so my kids don't do that. I know my kids. Loving y'all kids. And another thing, though, I got to say to y'all, our sons, our grandsons, we got to do something about these boys. Something's not right with our boys. Stop telling their ass they can't cry. Stop telling they got to be hard. Stop telling them that, y'all. Y'all got to let them be emotional and cry and talk about their feelings, though. For real, though, because they're not being loved properly. They're not being loved properly. We got to change things. We got to love on these boys, these men, because I tried to love on him and it wasn't enough. He still did that. He didn't care. So, I'm doing kind of like visual at Ashley's house. Everybody's invited. I don't care.
She accepted
everybody
them into their family when she was
social media, whatever. You know, you can inbox me or something like that. You know, I'm not putting her stuff on Facebook or her address or nothing. But if you want to be there, you know, inbox me. And so in his people looking, Brandy or whoever else, don't come down because we're gonna be there and we're gonna be ready. So
that's her mom. Basically, I wanted to cover some of that because I felt like that was so critical to the case. We're going to go over a little bit of the court details, court info, and then we're going to watch a little bit of the presser, and then you can go off and hopefully you hear about Ashley's case more and we can all spread awareness, right? I haven't seen anyone talk about this. Yeah, it's brutal. At least it's one thing when you know like what happened, right? I don't know. Is that like I guess that's a little bit ignorant for me to say because I haven't experienced it, but I feel like would it make a difference if they had her body? I do think so. I think they would be able to know what happened. They would do an autopsy and they could lay her to rest, and then just not knowing, right? Like, what did he do? They found extreme signs of violence and her blood in his bathroom and the dumpster. And now she's gone. Her kids can't go to her gravesite and leave flowers. They're stuck on, we don't even know what happened, right? So a little bit of the court info is homicide, tampering with evidence, punishable over 10 years, dead body discernment, concealing the death of an individual is what he's being charged with. I put 2 pictures of the recent court information. On the 31st, the warrant was signed. He was charged recently on the 31st. He pled not guilty. He was arraigned at Roseville District Court. The bond was set at $250,000. He got caught for lying to authorities before he got charged with the murder. The judge has denied his request for a lower bond. There was a probable cause conference on the 5th. I don't have the outcome of that. And there was also a preliminary examination done on the 12th. That is actually going into March. I think the prosecutors built their case on having him locked up for the lying to authorities charge while they did an investigation. They had to get forensic analysis done and etc. Right? So it's a lot of work, but he did ultimately get charged with her murder on January 31st. So couple weeks ago. And he is looking, this first-degree murder carries a mandatory penalty of life without parole. And that's Ashley and some of the missing signs that were put out for her. We're going to watch a little of the presser, and then we're going to end it there. And, you know, I just want to say again, my heart goes out to her family and her mom. And I hope that she's found, and I hope that her boys are okay. Eventually. The body would prove there's a trail back to his... Yeah, they did. They found blood in his bathroom that led to the dumpster. And now it's leading back to the landfill. And they can't find it. They can't find her body. They use drones, cadaver dogs. Have the police stop looking for it. They did. They stopped the search. They searched for her January 13th through the 19th in the landfill. And sadly, I don't think there's been any search since. So her body is out in the landfill that's as big as 500 football fields. 3 million tons of garbage go there a year. Will her body be found? I don't know. I pray and hope it does. Who's going to come across it at this point? You know what I mean? They already searched. I mean, a landfill. Google landfills after we're done watching this live and learn about them. And you're going to be like, okay, whoa. It's intense. Like I mentioned before, there's a bunch of things factors that you have to take into account. Like, what is consistent of a landfill, right? You have to look with your hands and be able to see things. And there's methane gas and hydrogen. We talked about that at the beginning. We're going to watch a little bit of the presser, and then we can go on to our theories. You know, her family believes she was abducted walking outside of her apartment that morning. My other concern is, was it a confrontation at a planned location? He was pretending to meet her under false pretenses. She did tell family she was going to a beauty store, but it was in the same city where he lived. What happened between then? Was it a chance encounter leading to violence? It's obviously premeditated, the fake appointment, showing up unwelcomed. It's a lot similar to the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 case, right? Domestic violence, where there's signs, the family says no, but they see him later on. Clearly, there was a lot more going on than people knew. Deandre Brooks, did he have mental health issues? He was in the Army, the trauma, the PTSD, does it play a role? There's a lot of questions, right? So let's watch the presser, and I appreciate you guys for being here and staying tuned in to the Ashley Elkins case. I think it's important, and she deserves all the awareness, and her family does too.
Coming off of his apartment.
Watch, and then we'll call it a night. I'll let you go off to bed.
Search warrant on the residence, and ultimately find what we believe to be a large crime scene with a substantial amount of blood in the bathroom. DNA confirms that the blood did in fact belong to the victim. Since January 2nd, the victim has not been seen or heard from, has not had contact with friends or family, no banking activity.
Thank you, Gringa, for being here. I appreciate you for these smaller cases. All of you are real ones for hanging out.
Mr. Lang, are we ready to proceed to immediate arraignment, or would you like an opportunity to speak with your client regarding the new information?
Your Honor, we can go right to the arraignment. I just received the amended information.
I think only Vinny has covered this.
I've read it.
Like a bigger creator.
Mute to all charges at this time.
Judge, I'm sorry, कारmen DeFranco on behalf of the people. We don't have the defendant on the screen yet, so.
We're gonna get there. That's what I just want to know if we were moving straight or if he needed to talk to his client, because we just got the search in. All right, Macomb County Jail, may I please have Deandre Booker?
Yes, ma'am.
I know. Time to roll up and smoke my feelings.
All right, now appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. कारmen DeFranco appearing on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Robbie Lang appearing on behalf of Deandre Booker.
And sir, please state your name for the record.
Deandre Booker.
All right, Mr. Ling, again, with regard to the arraignment on the new information you've been provided.
Your Honor, I have been provided the new information. We would waive the formal reading and stand mute.
All right. Mr. Booker, have you had an ample opportunity to talk to your attorney?
Not today, but yesterday, yes.
Has he gone over your rights?
I'm
with you?
disgusted.
Yes.
He looks guilty. Wait. Now are we being?
Do you have any questions?
I
regarding
think
those
he
rights?
looks nasty.
No.
Do you know what the charge is?
Is it because I feel some type of way? Homie Hangout says this room's just
I don't.
All right.
a
You
shame.
might as well read them,
Read
Your
the
Honor.
charges, counsel, just so that he knows what he's charged with today, or I can do it whatever you prefer.
You could read them out loud.
That's fine. Sir, you are charged with count 1, homicide, murder, first degree, premeditated. The allegation is that you did deliberately with the intent to kill and with premeditation kill and murder 1 Ashley Lachey Elkins, contrary to MCL 750.316. That is a felony with a possible penalty of life without parole. Count 2, tampering with evidence. Criminal case punishable by up to more than 10 years. Did knowingly and intentionally remove, alter, conceal, destroy, or otherwise tamper with evidence to be offered in a criminal case where the crime was punishable by a maximum term of imprisonment of more than 10 years or imprisonment for life of any term of years. That is a felony punishable by up to 10 years and or $20,000. Count 3, dead bodies, disinterment and mutilation. Did mutilate, deface, remove, or carry away a portion of a dead body. That is a felony punished by up to 10 years or $5,000.
I really love that they're charging him with murder, whether they haven't found her body. I know some states differs, right?
And count 4, concealing the death of an individual. That you allegedly did discover the body of.
Why is it when people commit a crime like these monsters, they look like
and failed
a
to
demon
inform
has
law enforcement
possessed their
enforcement
soul,
agency, a funeral
their
home,
eyes?
or a 911 operator of the discovery.
Somebody thought he was cute,
Conceal
but I'm
death
like,
or cause
I
of
see a
death
lot
of
of
that
darkness
person.
there.
That is a felony
Maybe
punishable
it's
by up
just
to
me.
5 years and or
Oh, thank you
$5,000.
again, Logic,
Do you
for
understand the
becoming a
charges
member.
against you today?
I appreciate you.
Yes.
At this time, I'm going to enter the not guilty plea for purposes of arraignment, and we'll move to bond. We'll start with you, counsel. Mr. Lang.
Your Honor,
That's
I
evil.
realize the
manifested,
seriousness
right?
of this offense. However, according to MCR 6.106B, he does not fit the category where bond can be denied, even though it is a murder charge, because he has no prior violent felonies, and he, at the time, is not on bond or parole, probation for any violent felony. Therefore, under 6106C, the court must.
We might have to have a Melly after dark about like this spiritual stuff because I'm very into it. The devil and the demon shows on their faces and in their eyes. It does. I agree.
Order the pretrial release of.
I like when judges
personal
talk in third
confinement
person
surrounding
about the
secured appearance bond.
I do too.
Unless the court thinks he would be a danger to the public and or
He's a danger to the
flight risk.
public.
And Your Honor, I would
Thank you for keeping them locked up.
reiterate what I iterated before, that Mr. Booker would not be a flight risk. He has lived in either Detroit, Ann Arbor, or Macomb County his entire life. He has ties to the community here in terms of past jobs, family, etc. And if we look at the worry
Right,
about
Laura.
him being gone, he could be placed on a steel cuff tether, so his whereabouts would be known at all times. He would,
Yes,
I believe,
please. I mean,
that
the
the
spiritual
police
stuff.
may have
Ooh.
confiscated if he had
Ooh,
passed.
you don't know who you're messing with. I love your channel. You do not. Oh, thank you again, Star Logic. I'm gonna cry. Thank you. I don't. And I'm so proud that you recognize that. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Support in his
I love true
residence.
crime.
They would already
That's
have
why I'm here.
control of that. He does
For
not have a driver's
sure.
license, so that would be surrendered to ensure that he would not flee. With regard to reasons for a personal recognizance bond, the court in Subrule F looks at about 8.
We should all do like a road trip and volunteer and go look for
There's
Ashley.
only one that stands
That's
out,
what we
and
should
that
do.
is the seriousness of the offense charge.
I don't
As
like
to
that
all the
idea.
other factors, Mr. Booker does not have any prior criminal record whatsoever. He does not have a record of non-appearance
In the
at court
landfill.
dates. He doesn't have a history of substance
Of
abuse
trash.
or a mental condition. He has had steady employment.
Because just remember, that's what he did. He threw her in the dumpster into one of the biggest landfills in the city, Michigan. Yeah. Pine Tree Acres landfill. 500 football fields worth of trash in the area where she's speculated to be. I don't know how her mom sleeps at night.
Employment most of his life.
Can I have a medical excuse for
from his job,
Laura?
working some,
That's funny.
part-time jobs.
I like that.
Therein. And, you know, again, his ties, family ties to this community. So I expect the court is going to enter some type of monetary bond, but I would ask that be.
Where is Ashley?
He does not have.
Where
any
is her body? He
assets
needs to
of
just
his own,
tell it.
And that
He's a
put some
coward.
conditions
He's already
on
going to be
his,
in there.
release.
Life.
Like I mentioned,
I can't with these people.
GPS tether,
I just
no contact with the victim's family, etc.
I'm like,
Thank you, Your Honor. Judge, I believe
Yeah.
counsel is misreading 6.106. I believe this defendant can be remanded with no bond, at least for a period of about 90 days. And I would ask for that. If this court is inclined to grant some sort of monetary bond, I would ask for something in the neighborhood of $5 million cash, no 10%.
he's a demon. He is a demon against all logic.
No, Your Honor.
I don't know. Don't you think that these murders would be like, okay, I'm in here for life, death penalty or not, et cetera, whatever. But you would think they would tell. It's like Harmony Montgomery with her own father wouldn't even tell where he buried her remains. That's a different level of evil, right? I'm shook. He's sitting in jail just eating those shitty ass meals, showering with them little ass soap bars, cold water, going out for 30 minutes a day. I don't know. It wasn't pleasant from what I remember, but and he just won't tell where her body is. He doesn't care. He dumped her in the trash anyway, so I mean, he doesn't care. He don't got nothing to worry about, right? I'm shook.
I would agree that the defendant does qualify for a remand under the statute.
If he gets death penalty, he would use that as an excuse to get a kind of deal. I don't think that was on the table, the death penalty, so hopefully.
Already, there is a PCC scheduled for February 5th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. I was not at that matter. I do not know.
Look at him.
The original court date, if the defendant waived his 21-day rules yet on that matter.
Judge,
And what kind of time?
If I may, Judge, yes, it was an
No,
adjourned
she's
PCC.
not found. No.
Has been-
She's been missing since January 2nd. They can't find her. They looked in the dump in the landfill. They can't find her. She's still missing. And that's why we're talking about it tonight. I'm shook other people aren't talking about it. Like I said, it doesn't fit into the algorithm. Whatever. That pisses me off. Hello, 𝗶𝗶𝗲. Not this turning into a Melly After Dark. No, but really, it needs more awareness. We all need to talk about it. People need to talk about it. People need to be kind to her family. Where is Ashley? Where's her body? She has 2 sons, 7 and 10. They're just going to go on living their life like she's in dump. She's in trash.
Been waived on that already. I would ask for this PCC to be set. This is obviously going to Judge Bodecker as well.
Yes, this matter will also go to Judge Bodecker.
Oh, I'll keep you up, Laura.
The February 5th date of next Wednesday. We can also change.
You don't got to worry about that with me,
We
baby.
are willing to waive timeline requirements today.
Your Honor, myself and Mr. DeFranco had spoke before we got on the record about, dates based upon our schedules and these dates coming up on the previous case of the 5th and the 26th.
I don't even think
I would have waived the time frame, but now, we've kind of agreed that since we have this PCC scheduled for the 5th on the other case, we just as soon have this scheduled for that. And then we'll go from there in terms of where we're going to go for another PCC based upon the anticipation of the massive amount of discovery. I'm assuming.
I want to
And Judge, I agree with Mr. Lang on that. I will begin to coordinate with my office's discovery unit to make sure Mr. Lang gets at least starts to get.
I'm ready to
as soon as possible.
throw
I
hands.
agree. I think
This man.
meeting this the 5th, then we, Mr. Lang, myself, and Judge Bowden.
I'm not even a violent person either. I'm
together on that
not.
day
I'm aggressive.
and figure out
but
where to go forward.
Not violent.
Okay, then I'm going to put this matter also on to February 5th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. on Zoom for a PCC, an exam date of February 12th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. in person. That will be the control date. You guys can discuss that with Judge Bowdecker.
I'm like over this because I can't.
Sir, I am going to officially refer your matter to the
I can't look at him.
appointment of counsel so that Mr.
My eyes hurt. My heart hurts.
Yes, Your Honor, just to speak to that, I was specifically appointed on the other case, knowing that this matter might come up, and therefore,
where's her body?
You'd have to run it through our office.
While you eat your little peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in jail that taste like ass.
We will make sure that is done as well. And you guys will all be in front of Judge Bowdecker next Wednesday, February 5th, 2025.
Don't come for me just because I'm telling the truth.
Remotely on Zoom.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Pleasure seeing you again.
I like that judge too. I think she's cool. She's cool. She gets a pass.
Recording stopped.
No, I just wanted to call you.
Repetitive. So I believe Mr. Morton, on behalf, he's the uncle in the case, is going to be the spokesman. He's going to be the point person on any matters regarding the family, so that we don't have the intrusiveness with the mother and also the aunt that's here today.
Tastes like Nunu.
In
Hot.
addition, we have questions that deal with the investigation from two jurisdictions,
Not me.
Warren and Roseville. Although other officers in the matter, and then we'll speak to that, were involved with the entire rescue and or recovery in the matter at the landfill.
That's close.
There is information at this time that is still ongoing, being processed. Therefore, certain answers that are given before we start this morning have to be guarded at best. The innocent is still innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. These charges were levied based on the information,
Not
as
innocent
well as the
in my
entire
court of law.
process of
Melly's
police work.
court of law.
I know it
Absolutely
was
not.
tedious, long, cumbersome, but I thank the family for giving accolades to the law enforcement agencies that did such a fine job. That being said, you heard the charges this morning in open court. In addition, the other charge that was already levied makes a total of 5 charges. And for that, I'm going to open it up because the information that has been given to you right now and provided openly in court deals with the investigative portion of the program, which was brought by law enforcement to the office for a full review, exhaustive review. And at
There's only a
this
few
time,
minutes on.
these are the charges that have been levied. Open it up for questions. Let's do it one at a time. Put your hand up and direct it to either the investigative portion or the charging portion, because there's 2 portions.
Could you expand on? Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Put your hand up.
That was wild.
I mean, maybe along the same lines, but can you?
Laura likes to get
kind
wild
of
with Melly.
expand on how we got from that last day of the search to where we are today.
Hey, let's do it, baby.
This is an ongoing investigation. Detectives continue to work tirelessly, develop more evidence, put together what I feel is an excellent case. Obtained enough evidence to present to the prosecutors who went through it very thoroughly and authorize those charges.
Kelly
today.
is global.
Yes, sir. I was wondering if you could expand a little more on the evidence that was found. The detective sergeant
I'm
said there
everywhere.
was blood found in the bathroom. What, a little bit more about that?
There was blood recovered from the apartment. It
What
was
is-
analyzed by the state police crime lab, and it was a match to Ashley.
And that was in the bathroom, correct?
Yes.
Was it anywhere else or was it just in the bathroom?
We're going to keep it just.
Homie says telling someone their relative is dead is brutal, but can't imagine someone telling their mom is gone too. And imagine having to tell like your son's like, oh, she's gone. We don't know where she is. She's in the trash. We probably won't be able to find her. So go on and live your life. Right? It's unrealistic. It's not possible.
Today, what was put out
It's
court this morning.
horrific.
Thank you, sir. Can you describe how much blood?
There was blood recovered. It was a match, and it was enough to get the charges authorized today. And we'll leave it.
Where is Ashley? I'm pissed off now.
The evidence.
Where is she?
Go ahead.
The evidence was recovered when you did the search of the boyfriend's apartment or ex-boyfriend's apartment. Is that correct, or was this?
I'm so irritated with this guy.
Recovered from
Not the guy, the cop, but the guy who killed her.
Can you repeat what was said this morning in regard to the suspect being in a vehicle with a female, I believe, and then came back alone? So did he have help? Can you talk about the relevance of why that was introduced today?
We believe he acted alone. There was a video portion of a second female.
Oh, shit.
It was investigated thoroughly. She was not involved. She was unwitting.
Was that at the alleged time maybe of disposal of a body? Or do we know, or can you
No,
add
sir.
any context as to how and what you believe happened as far as where she was taken?
Johnny indicated that you said, was it at the time disposal of the body? He said, no, sir.
Okay.
Thanks for the question. Again, this is the kind of case, even though you don't have a body and you're going to, you're a journalist and, communications is very important. These cases are put together by the totality of the evidence, the statements, the digital evidence that's provided, and because people come forward even during an investigation, may offer more testimony. So we're not that we don't want to answer completely, but there's things that are still ongoing. Somebody had a question over here.
I was going to ask you if you feel confident you can get a conviction without a body.
Past practice is what I rely on for future performance.
I like
here.
this little
county has
man.
seen, since I've been practicing almost 40 years, 4 cases that I'm
Like,
very
I don't need no
familiar
body.
with have had no body and
Charge him
have had
anything.
total conviction. Because there's no other way sometimes to explain it when you don't have a body, except all of the evidence that's been accumulated. Yes.
In terms of the
Questions,
search
anyone?
for her body, are there other
Um,
places you guys have searched? Can you discuss where you've searched or where you will continue to search if you have additional information to do?
Any information that's garnered as a result of now new information would be searched, of course. But you've already known that the landfill was the main place.
Are there additional places you intend to search?
Not at this time.
Forgive me if these questions may be remedial because I've followed this on the periphery, not directly.
I know, Augie. I know. Why don't he just tell them where he hid her? Will we ever find Ashley? Will we ever know what even happened? I'm horrified. Okay, there's a few minutes left.
But can you speak to evidence that was
I can't.
gathered at the landfill that might be relevant?
Everything that was gathered.
I'm very
there is
like
still
passionate
being
about these
processed.
things, and I'm very
That'll
pissed
be
off about this.
Decided of evidentiary value at a later time.
Can you speak to potential motive here? Meaning, had they had a
Lots
longer
in
standing
here.
relationship that was breaking off, or can you add any context to the why, perhaps?
I don't think that we have the in-depth knowledge and what you need, but I know the family has given information that has also been a part of the investigation in regards to the relationship. And I think they want to keep a lot of that private at this time.
Mr. Morton?
Oh.
I imagine, I don't put words in.
Augie
but
comes here.
What's the
I'm gonna
family
wait.
feeling today, sir? Seeing charges being brought as moving forward in the case.
It's a very tough day, right? Very emotional. to hear the charges that were levied. But the family is appreciative to everyone that's worked on this case, particularly to Roseville Police Department and the prosecutors. It's
Whoa,
been,
whoa, whoa.
a little over 4 weeks now, waiting for murder charges to come. And so, though this
All out
this
on
does
hating
not
on
bring
California.
complete closure, but we know
I'm a
that this is
California
the
girl.
journey to justice. So this is where it starts. And that's what the family wants. We want justice in this case.
Forgive me for appreciating what the prosecutor said about privacy concerns.
Justice
And
for
what may
Ashley.
have been shared publicly previously or not, so forgive it if it's redundant, but can you share anything in regard to, was there an abusive relationship here, or what might have transpired leading up to this situation?
Yeah, we can't really speak to those details. We've said in the past that they had broken up back in September. And we've made it clear that, we can't speak to motive. I can't get in the mind of a murderer of a
This is her
psychotic
uncle,
killer,
by the
so
way.
We'll leave it at that.
So they didn't see signs of domestic violence until later in the relationship and after she went missing. That's a huge, huge, huge important factor in true crime, right? A lot of these cases that we cover.
Beautiful young lady. Remember mostly that she is a mother of a 10-year-old and 7-year-old. So you have 2 young boys out there who don't have a mother. So the community should, feel for those children. She has a mother here, she has siblings, a full family, a wealth of community members and supporters and friends out there who loved her tremendously. You've heard her mom say multiple times, she was the life of the party. Everyone loved her, cared for her, and she cared for them. But she was a mom who fought and cared and took care of her children. I mean, that's what he took away.
She took care of her children. Maybe he'll be offered a plea deal that includes revealing where she is. No DP in Michigan. Right. That's a good one. Thank you, Rena, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Quick question. Do we know definitively what was the tipping point? No, they broke up in September. So I think from when they broke up, I think he was already tripping. I think he was already like, if no one can have her. It's very much like the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 case, right? That we're deep diving right now. We're deep diving that. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. You get anything here. You get true crime, you get all of the above. So welcome, new members. Thank you again, Greenga, for the super chat, and Knight for becoming a member. I bet she found a new man. I think she was over it, I think she was over, she knew that he was abusive and controlling. She wanted out and he just wouldn't have it. He couldn't handle it.
How's the family?
I hope she found a new man, but I'm sad that she can't spend her life with her new man.
It's tough. Mom has mentioned multiple times.
Didn't he? Yeah, he did. He put her in the dumpster.
The youngest doesn't.
Well, he doesn't know where she is, but at least he could talk, right? Like say something like, yeah, I did. She's in the dumpster. He hasn't said one word. One word. And he's looking at pretty much life. So
it's going to take a village to wrap around them and support them. But this is tough. And we can imagine that going through the court process over these next few months.
Right, how dare she leave him?
It's going to be even tougher.
He's the best thing she ever had.
Have any message for those who've been
right?
working on this investigation, how it's played out, how it's progressed over the
Oh,
last
Ashley, you won't find someone better than me,
law enforcement,
et cetera, et cetera. We know how that
trying
goes.
to help bring justice to y'all's family?
Yeah, I mean, we were very clear. We were, family was frustrated when we started out, right? When Ashley first went missing. We know that law enforcement hands are tied oftentimes. We feel that society as a whole should take these cases more seriously. Just as there's an Amber Alert, we're saying there should be an Ashley Alert, right? When a young woman goes missing and there's reason to believe she's in harm's way, there should be more done. But as it relates to what's been done by Roseville Police, and since that point, nothing but accolades. They've done a fantastic job. The family's appreciative of all of those agencies that participated in the search for Ashley at the landfill. They've communicated with us on a regular basis. I'm going to keep saying this.
Where's her body?
Has been excellent in how he's worked.
She's just gonna be in the
so
dump.
we're appreciative of everything they've
her
done.
whole life.
We started with Warren Police Department, Roseville Police Department. We know the prosecutors have worked on this. We appreciate it because, we know there's a lot of families that don't get this level of attention, whether it's from the media or law enforcement. And we feel that everyone should get this level of attention. So we're appreciative of what they've done to this point.
How hard?
Yes. Now you know about Ashley Elkins. And so those of you who said you didn't know about that case, this case, you heard it here. And I'm proud of that. Even if it's just a few of you who've never heard of this case.
Seeing the suspect's face.
Is very difficult, but I think the hardest part is hearing the charges, right? Because then you start to visualize
And I'm
and picture what
thankful
occurred.
that you guys are here
That's very
watching
difficult.
and having an
From
open
the work
mind.
at this
Cases
point
that are
on,
not big in the
the
limelight
journey's beginning with the
in
prosecution,
the algorithm.
because now all of the
It
points that
shows
have
you're
been
willing to
investigated
accept
thus far, as well as what may
what
come
society
in the
isn't
future,
conforming to in a
have
sense
to be put
on
together
YouTube.
methodically and to show the
Thank you, Augie.
timeline as to how it all occurs. And I want to
Thank
thank
you,
also
Laura.
all the assistant prosecutors, including the two that are here today, Ms. Seaworth and Mr. DeFranco, because they are going to lead the charge on this case to bring justice to this family and closure someday. That the questions can be answered and be given to those two little boys, because we all have families in here. Let's face it. Nobody wants to be sitting here and going through this. This is extremely painful.
Mhm.
And the thought of trying to bring her home and get closure at that time wasn't a success, but we're going to go ahead and do everything we can to purge forward and make sure that justice is going to be in this case. The reality is he's innocent until proven guilty. And everything that we say at this point here, we want to make sure that you have that information in the message that you're leaving to those individuals that wanted to know about the open questions.
I can touch on one thing. We don't get here today without the collaboration of all our friends in law enforcement. Commissioner Hawkins from Warren PD.
Warren, Michigan is where she's from.
Macomb County Sheriff's Office. We had 14,
Oh, thank you,
15
Nate.
agencies out there at the
Really
landfill.
nice.
Our detectives here in Roseville work throughout, and unbelievable.
I don't play.
Unbelievable caliber of people.
I don't play on my
And,
channel.
The training and
We
their performance and their knowledge of putting this case together is second to none. So without the collaboration of all of us, this doesn't happen today.
And to I guess come off of that, who's ever trained to go into a landfill? And
No
lift
one.
body? None of us. And it's important to realize that
A
they have to stand on
landfill
boots and
where it's dangerous
God
for their
knows
own health,
better,
right?
and go
Working
through
there.
garbage.
Methane,
Try to do their
hydrogen
job to
sulfide,
bring her
about it
home.
all. The
So
beginning of the life.
I'm forever grateful for the mission because it at least took place.
Prosecutor? Two questions. Are there any
There's
other
like 2 more
persons
minutes.
of interest or accomplices? I know that the woman in the vehicle was not considered an accomplice. Do you believe there were other people involved?
Great question. And I wish that we had more to go on, but the individuals that were a part of, let's say, this investigation, they're not talking. So we'll go from there.
And do you believe, based on evidence that you have or more that you'll look at, that you will find Ashley?
I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic.
Ugh,
I'd like to go ahead and tell you yes.
my
but it's
heart breaks.
only if somebody or evidence points to where that happens. Somebody may cooperate in the investigation.
Someone like the coward that killed her,
It takes a little bit,
Deandre Brooks.
but I'm hopeful.
A quick question for Chief Berlin. Has a case like this had an emotional impact on the
Why
department?
did that camera zoom into him like that?
Absolutely. The officers
Rude.
were invested in this from the beginning, and doing that search became more invested throughout. And when it was over, felt very defeated. So, yep.
And for point of clarity, please, beyond the DNA evidence in the blood in the bathroom in the apartment,
I don't think people can go into hazmat suits, Gringa. I think they have to meet like a certain protocol to get them funded, and so I think that becomes like an issue, right? But I would do it. I would be. I don't know what it's looking like now though in the landfill. That was January 13th through the 19th. So that's a lot of trash, right? Okay, there's like 1 minute left.
Evidence been found in a dumpster, landfill, anywhere else, a vehicle perhaps?
We're just going to stick with the comments on the evidence from what was revealed in the court.
Thank you, Laura.
There's an enormous amount of pages of information. I'm sure by FOIA, you're going to find what statements were made, what information was garnered, and more importantly, the results of that evidence.
But either the prosecutor or Chief Berlin, do we believe that I guess we don't know how she died, is that correct? At this point, we just have the blood evidence, or can you say how you believe she did die, and if that occurred in the bathroom or elsewhere?
So there's still ongoing discussions with the medical crew, if you will, as to certain things that we have determined, okay, that they need to look at and give back. But at this point here, we don't want to disclose more than we need to, given the nature and circumstances of ongoing evidence coming back. If there's no other questions, I know that the family.
So there you have it. Where is Ashley? Where is beautiful Ashley? In the landfill somewhere by this monster on the screen right now. Feel free to grab your vomit bag. Anyways, this is beautiful Ashley. She is missing. My condolences go out to her family. I hope more people cover this. I know there's not a lot on it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't deserve any attention. You know what I mean? So now you know about Ashley Elkins, and I hope that someone does find her remains, and I hope that her family finds healing and her mom. And I'm so sad about this case. But anyways, for those of you that missed the beginning, please go back and watch. Thank you for being here. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. We're going to call it a night. Yeah, Ashley Elkins. We'll be back tomorrow with a deep dive on 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲. If you're not aware, we've been deep diving that, and we're going to continue to deep dive it for the next few weeks. But don't worry, there's a lot of true other crime cases that I'm going to be talking about. Melly shook. I'm shook. Yeah, I'm shook. Where's Ashley? I want to fight that man. Deandre. Thanks, Melly. I know you will cover this one. Yes, thank you, Gringa, for being here. And thank you. Yes, Laura, I will keep you updated. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we'll come back to this. I have a few updates on older cases I haven't spoken about from like the very beginning. We have a lot of stuff coming this week. There's no time for sleep, only time for true crime, right? If you know me, you know me. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you hit that like button. I will catch you on some lives later, maybe homie hangouts. We'll see the vibes, but we'll be back tomorrow with more true crime and then Melly After Dark. Who's coming to the dark side? You've been warned. Anyways, make sure you hit that like button. I appreciate you, everyone who supported. I will see you on the next one, and I will see you in chat. So, you know, we're hanging around the streets here. Thank you, Knight. Thank you, Triple P. Good night, Against All Logic. Thank you all for being here and supporting. I will see you on the next one. Bye.
but nobody can hide once she gets a hold of that paperwork. So don't you dare come in here acting like a jerk. Bands might make her dance, but new court docs will make her wanna twerk. Dark hair shining in the Cali sun, Melly on the case, so no one and trying to run. These Sims can ask for feet pics, but you getting none. It's 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 with Melly, let's have some fucking fun. So if you're feeling for true crime, like it's a drug, 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 with Melly is your motherfucking plug. Going so hard on criminals, they'll call their mama for a hug. She's finding out all the stuff they try to sweep under the rug. Dark hair shining in the Cali sun, Melly on the case, so no point in trying to run. You Sims can ask for feet pics, but you getting none. It's 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 with Melly, let's have some fucking fun. Dark hair shining in the Cali sun, Melly on the case, so no point in trying to run. The Sims can ask for feet pics, but you getting none. It's 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 with Melly, let's have some fucking fun. Some try to hide away, so all they do is work, but nobody can hide once she gets a hold of that paperwork. So don't you dare come in here acting like a